Hi. Welcome back to my channel that's been dusty and crusty for the last couple of months. But hey, that's life. So today I will be answering some questions that some of you all asked me on Curious Cat or on Discord or on Twitter. And at the same time, I will be showing you how I draw VRoid clothes in Photoshop and basically VRoid. I'll make the tutorial available. I will not be commenting what I'm doing, so you'll just have to like look at it. If you have any questions, you can always ask me on Twitter or whatever. But it's nothing really like special or like out of this world complicated in what I do. Most of like images, the ones of chains and like little accessories, I actually buy them on Shutterstock. I could make them myself, but I'm just lazy. Like I don't have the time for that. So I actually get them on Shutterstock. But I mean, like you can also make them in Illustrator. There's a lot of tutorials online I mean, for how to make chains and stuff like that. You know, all the accessories and all of that stuff. So I will be using that. I've already like arranged all the images that I need. I've separated them. I've prepared everything so it's like quicker and it doesn't like take an eternity to make. Because normally when I create clothes, I mean like I use a bunch of different things and I test stuff and like it takes hours and I didn't want you to sit through all of that mess. So I've prepared everything and that's what I will be doing today. All right. So let's begin with the questions and answers. So Kirki asked me the other day a couple of questions on Discord and I'd like to answer them. So the first one was, what kind of music do you like? It really depends on what I'm doing. I guess I kind of listen to anything and everything. I do listen to a lot of rap when I design clothes. I don't know why, like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, just kind of gets me there. You know, kind of ratchet music, but energetic, makes me sit for hours and hours of drawing, kind of helps. Otherwise, I listen really to anything and everything. Like in my daily life, I can go through deathcore to Britney Spears to classical music. It's really depends on my mood. Although lately I have been listening to Cat Girls Are Ruining. Oh my god, I can't talk anymore. You know that what's the worst part with all this quarantine is that like I've been stuck at home working and I barely speak to anybody. So now that I have to actually open my mouth and voice my thoughts, I'm like, you know, weird stuff in it. So yeah, the one that I've been listening a lot to lately is "Call Girls Are Ruining My Life" by Corpse. I'll link it somewhere on the screen, I guess. Y'all, I'm still new to all of this, so it's gonna be hectic. Like, bear with me. Otherwise, yeah, I just listen to anything and everything. Depends on my mood, depends on what I want, and like how angry I am. Also, that changes a lot of things. Next questions. What inspires your VRoid style, like idol fashion or something? Great question. So, as you can see, most of the stuff that I draw are kind of like idol inspired for the majority. So basically, like my phone just looks like a patchwork of idol clothes and idol images of like anime girls and manga girls. Has changed a lot. So basically, like one of my favorite things to check out is the manga Prism Paradise and anime, mostly anime. Pripara is the like the shortened version. By the way, if you'll hear like any bird sounds, it's because my seagull is on my balcony and he's staring at me like creep because he's hungry and I'm filming and I can't walk away. So yeah, if you'll hear an angry bird, well, that's my seagull. That's the joys of having a semi-pet seagull, I guess. Anyhow, dang, blabbing away. Anyhow, so yeah, so like I look a lot of like Prince Paradise, fashion clothing. Then you have like a couple of other also like idol anime, and I basically like I would look through all of them and kind of go with the theme that I want to do. Like I have a general idea. Let's say like I don't know, for example, for the which outfit for the idol like outfit, you know, the fluffy one with the shit ton of things on it. Can I say shit? does it work on YouTube? Am I gonna be demonetized? Well, it's not like I'm earning any money anyways. Anyhow, uh, so yeah, so for example, I think like, okay, like I want to use gems, I want to use like this pattern, and I want to have like that kind of silhouette, right? Which is also kind of complicated because I want to like layer things in VRoid, and I don't want to use like any plugins or anything else. So there's a limit to what I can layer and how I can layer things. So I just go with like, okay, so I want this kind of bubbly shape with a pleated skirt and like a short crop top with puffy like sleeves, right? So I would go with that, and then I'll be like, okay, so I want to like use a checkered pattern, and I wanted to use some lace and gems, right? So I'll go with that, and then I'll be like, okay, so let me check it like some outfits that already exist, like in Prepara and like other girl, like idol girl anime. I'll look from photos. I'll be like, okay, so maybe I can like use this, position, like for example, I could position the lace in the middle, or I could use gems like at the edges, or for example, like I could add, I don't know, like an extra something something somewhere. So I would look at them and I'll be like, I'll get a little bit of inspiration. Then I'll go back to sketching. I sketch all of my outfits. By the way, if you want, I can also like upload my sketches, I guess. Um, the end result sometimes a little bit different because, like proportions and shit. But anyhow, so yeah, then I would like look at the different sketches, put everything together, try to do stuff in Photoshop, fail a couple of times, change my plan because like you want a certain silhouette, and then when you start working and you're like, yeah, that's not it. Especially like I've noticed with lace, like if it's really thin, it kind of disappears. So there's like a limit to what you can do, what you can't do, how you want to do things. And yeah, and then like because I have a Shutterstock account, due to my previous work as a designer, like I used to use it a lot. I mean, like, come on, if you can buy for like $4 an image of the sky, like perfectly photoshopped, like you need it, why would you spend 10 hours making one, right? By the way, really hoping that the outside noise will not be too disturbing because it's hella hot right now, and I have my windows open and there's a construction site just in front of my apartment. Sorry for the noise, bear with me, but it's either that or I basically boil to death in my own apartment. So yeah, summertime, fun. So yeah, I just like I look for those stuff, and other parts of it I just like imagine and just sketch them out and test things. There's a lot of testing when I work. I would have an idea and then I would test on Photoshop and see if it really works. Like in the tutorial that you see now, I'm not doing a lot of back and forth between the PSD and the VRoid, but usually like I would do a couple of like adjustments and then export it directly in PNG and put it in my VRoid model to see like if that's exactly what I want. I didn't do it with this one because I've already made this outfit and I knew more or less where things had to go, what was supposed to be their sizes and everything. But usually like I would do a lot of back and forth and basically test things and see like as I go adjust them. That's why also I was like, I'll probably like do a pre-recorded YouTube video rather than do a live stream because there's so much like back and forth between like Photoshop and VRoid when I work, and I don't want you to sit through like 4 hours of that nonsense. Anyhow, next question. How did you learn English so good? Well, it's been a bit rusty lately. Actually, so when I was a kid, I mean, when I was like 9, we moved to London with my parents. I used to play professional tennis at that time. Well, I played professional tennis until I was 17. So basically, we moved to London. Barely spoke any English. We lived there for about 2.5 years. And I basically just learned it there, learned it on the spot. And then when we moved to Switzerland, I had to learn French because I live in the French speaking part. I didn't know any French at all when I moved here, and it has been a nightmare to learn it. Really not, how can I say it? Like English is pretty straightforward, right? I mean, like, yeah, in academic writings, you have like special ways of saying things and everything, but it's pretty straightforward. The grammar is pretty straightforward, I'd say. The writing, the spelling, I mean, like everything. Like it's a business language, right? French is not exactly that. And it, like in Russian and in English, I find that when you hear a word, you can kind of guess which letters are used, right? You basically read what you see. Whereas in French, there's a lot of sounds where you use like two, three letters to pronounce one sound, which was not very logical for me at that time. So it took some time getting used to it. So yeah, and then I went the two universities I went to, because I have like 2 degrees and I'm doing my master's. They were all in French, so I wrote everything in French. Apart from my last bachelor, so undergrad, I wrote my thesis in English because it was kind of like a manifesto. Funny enough, it was related to avatars and body space time online. And since I wanted really this manifesto style of writing, French was not actually the best language for that. I personally find that in French, you can't really write like short, precise sentences as you can do that in English. So for that work, I wrote it in English. And then I worked as a type designer for quite a good company for a couple of years. And one of my colleagues, she was, I mean, she's still alive. She was from Mexico, but she lived all of her life in LA. So we'd always speak in English, or like would mix like French with English, which was kind of annoying. Like would say like half of the sentence in English and the second half in French, like mix there and there, like words. You had to really like follow us. Anyhow, and so I'd speak always in English with her, and so that kind of helped me to maintain a little bit of my English, because like before that I haven't really been using it much, since I was always like talking in French and stuff. So, and now that I'm back to university, well, since September, I write everything like in English. For the simple reason, for me personally, I find that in academic writing, if you want to touch a larger audience, it's much better to write in English than in French, or in Russian, for the same reason, because I also speak Russian, as my parents are Russian, and I've been born there. I mean, not I've been born there. I was born there. See, that's what I'm saying. Like my English got rusty. I have to open like a grammar book or something. So yeah, so lately I've been like writing more in English and stuff, but that's how it kind of maintained, I guess, the level. So yeah, that was. I'm so sorry. That was a very long answer to a very short question. Right. This the whole video is gonna be like that. Anyhow, what is my favorite color? Hmm, greenish blue, green or blue. Although I do wear a lot of red actually. But I'd say like bluish kind of like tones, stuff like that, greenish. I mean, that's my color. Like, no, my favorite color would be like greenish in that area, but favorite color to wear would be red. That's two different things. I'm actually like look inside my apartment right now, and I have like a lot of plants, like 100, I think 100 plants easily. So it's very, very green. And my couch has like green pillars on it. So yeah, I definitely have a tendency to have green stuff, but my clothes are mostly like reddish, blackish, kind of vampirish, gothic-ish kind of thingy. Favorite tattoo? Wow, that's a complicated one. So I don't know if you all know, if I've told you already, but basically, my VTuber persona has tattoos where I don't have them. So I don't have on my physical body. I don't have any tattoos on my face, on the front of my neck, on my hands, and on below my knees. Right. That's why my VTuber persona has all that tattoos on those places. Got my first tattoo when I was like 18 and a half. It's been almost 10 years now. Then time flies. Sorry. So yeah, and since then I've been like getting different tattoos. My whole idea was for all of the pieces to kind of come together and to look like one big tattoo with like different elements in it. So for example, I have one which actually like covers almost all of my body, and it's one of my favorite ones. It was done by Cy Wilson. I'll link his Instagram account here somewhere. You can check him out. He travels sometimes for tattoos, but now he's mostly like in Switzerland. Anyhow, and so yeah, so it was kind of like octopus tentacles like all over my body. and they kind of go in different places, and they really like tie different elements together. And the most important part for me with all of my tattoos is I never wanted them to look. How can I explain that? I'm not saying that like people who do that it's wrong or that I don't like it. Whatever, like do your thing. It's your body. It's your tattoos. Whatever you think is the best, just do it. I'm talking about like my own vision and about my own body and how I wanted things to be done right on me. So like I didn't want to have tattoos which would be like a kind of a circle in the middle of a leg and that's it, and it would look like static, right? So for me, it was very important for my tattoos to have movement in them and to be positioned in a way that they move well with the body. That was another issue because like some tattoos, like they look good when you're basically standing or sitting and not moving. And once you start moving, they look a little bit not exactly that. So that was a very important part for me. So all of my tattoos have movement and have some kind of dynamic movement going on between them, I guess, kind of. So yeah, but my favorite one has to be the octopus tentacles one. It was inspired by one of Hokusai prints. I'm not gonna link that one. You're gonna have to find it for yourself. And that one actually was my second tattoo, and it took us about 4 years to finish. We did like two to three, I'd say, meetings per year, which would last like 4 or 5 hours. Oh, there you go. The bird is talking. Yeah. Don't know if you'll be able to hear, but they're talking outside. Anyhow, yeah, that's what I live with. That's the downside of having pet seagulls. They make a lot of noise. Anyhow, so yeah, so it took us quite a while to finish it, but I think we met 8 or 9 times in total, like to really, you know, finish the whole thing. Because like I'm tall, the tattoo is quite big, um, and I didn't want to rush into it. I wanted like for the skin really to take the time to heal. For me, also mentally from the pain, because like I have a lot of tattoos. I hate the sensation of getting a tattoo. I hate the pain of tattoos. Like it's really not my thing. Like I like the end result and I like the process because, for example, a lot of my tattoos, like, I never drew any of them. For me, tattoo artists are artists. You're not gonna ask an artist to do something specific based on what you drew. You're gonna give them a general maybe idea and let them work in their own style. That's why you choose them. But again, my opinion. You do your thing. Do whatever you want. But I always chose all my tattoo artists based on their style. So, and some of my tattoos, basically, they're done freehand, which means there was no drawing beforehand. I would meet with my tattoo artist. I tell him, okay, listen, let's say, geez, somebody's hungry. So, for example, I meet with my tattoo artist and I tell him, like, okay, I want a panther. Like, I have a weird panther. Or, no, that was a dragon. Sorry, that was for the dragon. So I was like, okay, listen, I want a dragon. It's a very weird dragon. I'll upload a link somewhere here. And also with his name, if you're interested. He travels a lot, by the way. So I was like, okay, I want that dragon. And he was like, okay, sure. And the issue was like, well, it's not an issue, well, but basically he was like, okay, let's go. And he started tattooing my skin. So I didn't know how I was going to look in it. I mean, hopefully he did. So, but I had no idea since it was freehand. You know, there was no drawing. There was no drawing on my body. There was no drawing on a paper. It was just, okay, let's do it. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy how it turned out. But, you know, for those type of things, you really have to trust the artist. He has been doing freehand tattoos for quite a while before I met him. So I knew what to expect. I knew what kind of style to expect. And also I knew, of course, there was like a couple of little issues, let's say, but that was, they happen because like since it's freehand, you don't have really the time to like position things since you're like tattooing directly on the body. So you have to also like keep that in mind. I had a very like flexible idea of what I wanted. I just wanted that type of tattoo by him in freehand because I like this idea of not actually being in control of my tattoos. Very weird, I know, because it's something that actually holds stuck on your body. But hey, everybody has their own ways of doing. And I was really really happy with that one also. I think maybe yeah, maybe the dragon and the octopus actually my two favorite. I guess. Yeah. Um. Next question. Right. Wait. Let me find them. Eyeballs. Ew. I really have hard time talking lately. I mean, speaking. I mean, whatever. Opening my mouth and having sound coming out of it. Not easy lately. Right. So on Curious Cat, I'll just answer like a couple of other questions that I've already answered, but I thought it could be fun. So I know you live in Switzerland, but your name sounds Slavic. What is the story behind your name? So I think you all know that I'm a researcher, an anthropologist. So I use my real name and my real surname on Twitter. Bledikina is my surname, and L stands for Ludmila. And Ludmila is basically made out of two names. It's Luda and Mila, which you can separate or combine together. And I often use Mila online or also when I talk to people because it's much easier for them to pronounce Mila than Ludmila, and it's easier to remember. So I always use that. And yes, it is Slavic. My both parents are Russian, from Moscow. I was born in Moscow. We lived there until I was 9. Then we moved to London, like I told you, and then to Switzerland. I go back home like once or twice a year, normally for New Year's, because it's kind of like a tradition at our home. Like we don't do Christmas because it's on the 6th, I think. Oh God, I'm such a bad Orthodox. I think it's on the 6th, right? And so we normally do like on the 31st, we give the presents, we spend time together, and we'll have like a family meal and everything. So I always go back there like for New Year's. And then I try to go back during the year, like for a couple of days. It's not that far away from Switzerland. I mean, it's like 3 hours and a half, so I can always make it. So yeah, but that's why it's Slavic. My both parents are Russian, and I'm Russian technically. Next question. If money did not matter, what would you do in life? Basically what I'm doing right now. I'm an anthropologist, guys. It's not exactly the profession where that you do to earn money. I'm not a banker, right? Um, I'm not in trade services. I do this because I like research and because I mean I've earned quite good money before when I was a type designer because I was rather good at it. But it was nice, it was fun, but at some point I was like, this is not what I want to do in like 5 years, even 10 years. I wanted, like, for me, it wasn't stimulating enough. It wasn't enough stimulating for the brain. I always liked research and I always liked writing. So that's why I decided to quit everything and go back to university and be a poor student. Anyhow, next question. I remember it was Deet who asked me, do you play video games? Would you play video games if you had the opportunity and time? Uh, so the last video game I played, I think, like played was Worms, and probably more than 10 years ago. So yeah, been a while. Although I do play from time to time like otome games, like maiden games. Kind of like them. They're really fun. There was one that I really, really, really liked. Can't remember the name now. If I remember the name, I'll link it here somewhere. Um, so yeah, so like that's like the kind of game that I've been playing, but I really don't have that much time actually lately. And for the longest time, I couldn't really find a game that I liked. I know like some of my exes that tried to make me play games, and I think one of them tried to make me play like GTA. GTA, I don't know how to pronounce it. The thing with the cars and the racing and the stuff. Yeah, I fell asleep after 5 minutes of playing of that, so not exactly the best. But I do want to try play games again when I have a little bit more time. Which I don't know when that's gonna happen. Maybe sometime in the future. Right now, I'm filming this video, and I have just finished submitting like most of my exams. I have one exam on Friday. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but they pushed the deadline. And I have just submitted a paper for professional copy editing that I will hopefully receive on Friday because I have to submit it on Friday. So fingers crossed. And now I actually get to have some time off. I mean, I have other stuff to do, like film this video and like prepare other videos for a conference. But otherwise, I finally have some free time, which means I'm gonna be a slob on my couch. I'm gonna wrap myself like a burrito in my little blanket and read books. I have like two books that I've been waiting to read. One by Ryu Murakami Piercing, and another one is by Edogawa Rampo. I don't know which one I want to read yet. I have two of them. But anyhow, I'm going to be doing that. By the way, yeah, so sorry I haven't been answering to some of you on Twitter and stuff, but like I've been so tired lately, and the last weekend I just like closed my computer and just didn't open it because I needed some time off. Anyhow, last question. Oh no, actually we're done with all the questions. Huh. And I've been blabbing for 25 minutes. Dang. If some of y'all will like listen through all of this until the end, like kudos. Thank you for sticking through this. By the way, like, do you want me to do like stuff like that? I mean, I'm planning on doing other VRoid tutorials and stuff, especially like for the simple ones. Like I know the next one I'll be doing will be Gothic Lolita. I'm not sure if I will be really doing a tutorial for that. It will depend on like on the complexity of the outfit, because like for this one, for this skirt that and the belts that you see here, it took me an hour and 10 minutes to make it. And and it's pretty simple, but it takes time. So if it's like a Gothic Lolita or something, and like I'm gonna speed thingy, do the speed thingy in After Effects. You know what I mean. So if the Gothic Lolita takes me like 3 hours, and I have to speed sculpt it, I'm afraid it will be too quick. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. It depends also on how I'll draw the outfit, because for now I have no idea. My inspiration is a little bit dead inside, like the rest of me right now. So yeah, tell me if you like that I blub like this about my life and like your questions, or if you would prefer that they'll be like more organized and that I actually write a script that I am like reading, and that there is no weird moments of me being like, what's the word and everything. Let me know. Let me know if you're happy with this, or if you want me to change something or adjust something, or if you want me to talk you through a little bit better how I design, or if this is enough. Just let me know in the comments or on YouTube, or you can also DM me on Twitter. And also, since I want to do this kind of like Q&A every time that I film the VRoid tutorial videos, because I'm basically commenting on, I'm filming this separately from the video that you see playing in the background, right? Anyhow, so yeah, so basically to have answers, I need questions, right? So please, don't be shy. Either write me something on Curious Cat, or you can also write your future questions on YouTube comments, or DM me directly on Twitter, and I will answer all of them. Hopefully, they're not too creepy. But even if they're creepy, I will answer them. So, anyhow, thank you for sticking through with this. And let's finish this video with a little montage. Thank you.